Hello, hello. We're running off today again with some Morphe palettes. Decided to review some Morphe palettes based on some feedback that I got on my community tab. Please go check out my community tab if you want to be part of the feedback of the things that we review on this channel. But I have 3 palettes today. Now the thing that they have in common is that they are all a part of the Power Multi Effects palettes. So we have this one, which is called Lunarious is what I'm seeing there. And it's more of a kind of a silver to black kind of deal, a very smoky eye look kind of idea. And then we have Solaria. And if you can tell from this one, these are much warmer copper tone kind of looks. So we basically have like the moon and the sun, right? These are supposed to be kind of opposite palettes. Basically a warm palette and a cooler palette, right? And then we also have, this is the Meredith Duxbury palette she did with Morphe, and this is her Power Multi Effects palette. Now, let's just get it out of the way. The Meredith Duxbury one is the best one of the 3, and it's the only one I'm keeping. So let's talk about why. My least favorite one was this Solaria palette, which I'm kind of bummed about because I think I look really, really good in warm shades. Let's get this opened up. We need to figure out where to open this from. That's always the problem. Okay. I really like warm shades. I think I look great for warm shades. I mean, I still wear silver or gold or rose gold. It doesn't matter. I'll still wear it. But I think that gold is probably the best complementing to my skin. So when you open this up, no mirror in here. Love that. No mirror in here, just M. And here are the shades in this palette. You can see here that I did use it. And I got, I think, 4 looks out of this palette, out of each palette, I believe. And it just was not giving. This palette is, it's too, what's the word? I wouldn't even call these shades like shimmers. They're more like satins. If anything, maybe like, maybe too kind of metallic perhaps. But it just was not giving on my eye. It was, I don't know, it was too calmed down. This is just not, I didn't like the looks I created. I think my favorite shade in here, the only one that was like, okay, this is working, was this one, this Heliosphere. This one was probably the most interesting shade in here. Like that one was fun. Because it has, it's kind of, I think like I would call it a duochrome. It's a very interesting shift in there. And then the browns in here for some reason just didn't blend out very well. And I couldn't figure out why. And I think these 2 shades were too close in color on my eye and everything just ended up kind of muddled. Something like this I just don't really use. I know you're supposed to use it as a highlight or to blend out and all that, but I was just not impressed with this and I'm like, girl, I ain't keeping this. It just didn't feel, with a name called Power Multi Effects, I expected way more intensity. And this is just, I don't want to say lackluster, but it's just a lot more cutesy and basic than I'm wanting. I wanted the kapow. This is not the kapow. This is a lot more, you know, modest. And some people like that, and that's fine. So if you're interested in something like that, I think that this palette might be good for you, but I'm still not sure about the brown mattes in here. I've never experienced brown mattes from Morphe to be this bad before. So I don't know if they changed the formula or if it's just this palette, because the only palette I've ever really not liked from Morphe is a Jaclyn Hill palette that she came out with. It was like in one of her vaults. One of her vaulted palettes I did not like. So passing on off this one. This one was my least favorite. It's going to my mama. Second favorite, this is Lunarious. And this one was a little bit better to use, but I think I'm still going to pass it along just because I feel like this one was a lot more promising. But it ended up not being, again, as intense as I wanted it to be. I really, really was hopeful for these shades. This was my Christmas palette. I wore this on Christmas Eve and on Christmas. And it was good for simple looks. But again, just not at the intensity that I wanted. Like this one is Cosmic Shift. That one's really fun. It doesn't show up on the eye too much. And same with Outer Limits. They don't look this good on the eye. And then we have Moon Rock. I feel like this is, see on my hand it looks so much prettier, but on the eye it just didn't pop off as much as I wanted to. Again, it's more of a softer, simpler look, which worked for, you know, if I wanted to do that simple makeup. But I just don't, as much as I love this shade, this one was fun, and this one wasn't too bad either. I think that the mattes in here also performed a lot better than the last one. as much as I love that, I can't see myself grabbing this palette again. Like, it was fun while I used it, but I think this would get so much better use out of someone else who kind of just does simple makeup more every day versus like an actual event, because I really do love to wear makeup, especially for events. And I do wear makeup at home, but I just, it's unfortunate that it doesn't look this good on the eye. It does, at the end of the day, end up looking a little bit more muddled, but I think even here you can see, like, at least this makes a little bit more sense. Like, multi effects. Like, I think with the right person, this would probably look really great. This one is not as outstanding. I think the Lunarious is definitely the better of the sun and the moon. So let's move on to the next one, and why I'm keeping the Meredith Duxbury, but not the Soul or the Moon. This is the Meredith Duxbury. You can see that there's also a picture on the back of this one, and this one has texture. It's like water droplets on the palette, and on the back as well, it's blank. We also don't have a mirror in this one, but we have a note from Meredith Duxbury, who I think is she a TikToker? I think she's a TikToker. But this is what the palette looks like in the inside, and this is why I'm keeping this one. I think this palette is really great for what I call, I guess, serious occasions. Like, this is gonna sound really, really bad, but sometimes you need to wear makeup to events that are a little bit more serious in nature. I'm talking about, you know, going to a funeral, going to court, having to do, I don't know, letting your work know that you're leaving and you're putting your 2 weeks notice in. Do you know what I mean? Like, you want to wear makeup, but you don't want it to be flashy. You need it to be toned down. And I'm talking obviously as a person who likes really big, flashy, colorful makeup, but there is a need for something like this as well. And I feel like this works a lot better for me than the other two, because first of all, I can use this shade, which I did 2 or 3 times, I think. I used this shade as a blush. So this shade does work as a blush. This also has kind of like a camel yellow kind of shade, which I love yellows. I really liked the formula in here better. And as well, I think it just really worked for me in terms of what I can see myself wearing, because there's a little bit of color in there with the red and this kind of like champagne shade. But I did like this. Like I said, I really like golds, and this is definitely giving more gold. Look at that. I think that there's enough range in the brown as well. I just think this palette has a little bit more range with the shimmers in here. I like the setup. You have four really big, I might as well do this one as well, right? Whoop. Shades. That one kind of, let me get into this one right. My nail kind of dug into it. This is that kind of, it turns into like a very light champagne. This one, you can see here that it gets mixed. It's a lot lighter than the other 3, but here's all 4 of the shades. I can't really mix this one too well. It's very soft, but it's very sparkly. It's very champagne. That's the best way I can describe it. You can't see it too well on my arm, but these other shades as well. Let's do City Girl, Oh Baby, and Top Tier. All these shades stand out as different shades on my eye and on my skin tone. So I feel like these just worked a lot better for me in terms of the shades available. Sorry, not the best swatches, but I just think these work for me so much better for me than the other 2 palettes. And like I said, sometimes you just need a simpler, very just kind of travel friendly, which I think all of these are very travel friendly. Like I said, I traveled with one, the Luna one, to Reno actually, and that's what you see in that short. This one to me is the better one. This is the kind of palette I would probably, you know, grab if, you know, I had to go to do something at like a government building or something. Just something where I'm like clearly wearing makeup, but it's not really big and flashy. It's a lot more demure, right? So I'm keeping this one. I really liked this one. I like the shades in here. I think the formula is the better out of the 3. And I think just, even with this, I think I'll get more variety in the looks that I want to make versus the other 2. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know which of the 3 actually caught your eye. I would love to know. Like I said, I think the Meredith Duxbury one really has it. I know the other 2 are themed, but I think the Meredith Duxbury has a little bit more range. What do you think? Y'all have a great day.